OffBeat Sports Podcast presented by Celsius.
It's been a tale of two seasons for the Boston Celtics.
I probably aged about 10 years just from that series.
I'd probably compare myself to just a younger, smarter, more handsome, stronger Michael Jordan.
Let's go Celtics. Go Patriots.
These are guys who, when you give them a bowl of Cheerios in the morning, they finish every last drop of milk.
Absolute clown over here.
I'm ready when you are, baby.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the OffBeat Sports Podcast. Today we're joined by Andrew Jamiel. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah, no problem. So he's a former Stonehill College football player, wide receiver, racked up numerous awards and records at the NCAA Division II level. He then went on to play in the fan-controlled football league, where he put the league on notice while playing for Quavo's Glacier Boys team. Very excited to have you on. Yeah,
Had to rep the Glaciers.
he's reveling. So first off, super excited to have you on. I've watched you play all 4 years. It was incredible. You're a talented player. So how would you say Stonehill helped you develop into the player you are today?
I mean, Stonehill did a lot for me. Obviously, it was my first taste of college football. Anyone that's played college football knows, the step from high school to college is, it's big. It doesn't really matter the level. So that was everything for me. I had a good 4 years. Came in as a freshman, dude, 155 pounds. Didn't know if I was going to play. I knew I was talented. I was skilled. And I just worked my butt off. And, I earned a starting job. And I just never looked back as soon as they let me on the field. So, Stonehill was great for me. And I wouldn't, people, now that it's over, people are like, oh, dude, you easily could have played Division I. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. But coming out of high school, I didn't get any love for Division I. It was only a couple D2s. But I wouldn't trade that experience that I had at Stonehill for the world.
Yeah, they actually, they just went D1. We'll talk about that
that
later. But I just saw their running back from last year is actually.
Felder?
Yeah, he's moving up to a Division I team.
Yeah,
so
Felder's good. He can play. That's the thing about D2, though, dude. There's, Deontay Harris on the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's NFL caliber guys at that level,
Did you ever consider moving up to the D1 level when you're at Stonehill? Did you?
Honestly, the only time I ever considered it was after my junior season. We went 2-8.
Yeah, that was.
We had the worst
tough
season.
Tough year.
We had the worst season in a long time. My production was down. We went through a couple different quarterbacks that season. It was kind of a mess. So that was the only time I ever really thought, like, for my senior year, I might need to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But after a couple of weeks, and being around the guys in the off-season training, I couldn't do it. I couldn't wait for my senior year. So
you were settled there.
That's when I made the decision. Like, if I'm staying, we're not going to stink.
Yeah, exactly.
We ended up having a really good year my senior year. We finished 7-3, so it was good. I'm glad I stayed.
Yeah. So from what I hear from like people I know, you are a big family guy, and your dad specifically has been very involved with your career. How would you say your family has impacted your football career on and off the field?
Well, I'm one of 7 kids to begin with. So, growing up in a big house like that, we all hold each other accountable.
That's crazy, yeah.
I feel like everyone in my family, all my siblings have something that they're good at. My sisters are incredibly smart. They're dancers, whatever. So, I obviously always took pride in playing football. So, that's kind of the standard we created in my family. If you're going to do it, you got to be great. At least put everything you got into it. But yeah, my dad specifically, he's probably the biggest, role model I have in my life. He's a football guy. He played at Brown University. He was in the Hall of Fame. He actually started the youth football program for Dennis Yarmouth in my town. My oldest brother, who's 31, when he was 7 years old, my dad took him to town hall. He's like, I'm going to sign my kid up for football. They're like, oh, we actually don't have football in this town. So my dad's like, all right, we're either moving or I'm going to start this program.
Yeah.
So he ended up starting the youth program, and, DY youth program was like a powerhouse on kids for the longest time, dude. And we just did such advanced stuff as 9 and 10-year-olds. We're running a spread offense, double passes, double moves, like everything. So my dad really was like huge for the town of Yarmouth for football, bro. He started the youth program, and he ended up coaching the high school. He was the OC for like 15 years. So when I turned 7 or 8, I already knew that it was time to play. Fun fact, actually, too, when I played when I was 7, I played for like a week and then I quit. I hated it. I'm like, I was just so young, dude. 7 years old, getting pads. I didn't understand the game. I would rather be at home doing something else. Like, I was a little kid, and my dad was pissed about it. He's like, you want to stay home, go for it.
Yeah.
Next year, I turned 8, a little bit older. I'm like, all right, I'll try it again. Then I learned the ins and outs of the games. I realized how quick I was, and I could score touchdowns. and I loved it. I was like the best player, for the next couple of years, and then I just never looked back. But yeah,
Hey,
man,
you got
family's
there. Doesn't
everything.
matter how you got there, you got there.
Exactly, and that's how my parents are, though. They were, they're all about family.
Mhm.
So yeah, dude. I mean, coming from a big family like that, it's a different experience, but I loved it. It's good.
Yeah, so you played for the Glacier Boys, which was Quavo's team in the Fan Control Football League. So
Yeah.
how would you say, what was your experience with the Fan Control Football League? Like, what was it like?
It's crazy, dude. If you don't know about the Fan Control Football League and you're a football fan, you should know about it because it's like the craziest version of football you can imagine, dude. It's 7-on-7 indoors, arena style, no special teams. The extra points are one-on-ones, wide receiver versus DB. The owners are all big name people. So we got famous people on the sideline, talking shit. We're playing in front of 1 million people on Twitch and on NBC Sports and Peacock. So like they had some pretty legit streaming services. So there was eyes on the league. My experience was amazing, dude. I mean, playing at Stonehill was great. And even though I did well, it's like in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, yeah, I'm doing well, but it's not Division 1. I wonder if I could do this at Division 1. People are trying to tell me I'm so great, but I always wondered what it would be like. So going to the FCF, bro, if you look at the rosters, I mean, it's either Division 3 or Division 2 studs, or it's big time Division 1 guys that had something happen off the field, which prohibited them from going to the NFL, or injuries. Or so like, I'm looking at this roster for the FCF, dude. Florida State, Tennessee, Memphis, bro. All the big schools, dude. There's guys there, whether they were standouts or not. So that was huge for me to be able to go there and compete against those guys because I proved not only to myself but to everyone else I could have played D1. I belong at the next level. So that was huge for me, dude. And I love the FCF.
Yeah, and then you got Josh Gordon,
Johnny Manziel.
like
Dude, that was super cool, bro. And it's funny because like a lot of the kids, they try to act like those guys aren't a big deal, because we're all in the same place. We're all grown men here. We're not, but me personally, bro, I'm a football fan.
Yeah.
I grew up watching these guys on TV, sitting on the couch. If you told me in high school or college you're going to be playing football with T.O., Manziel, and Josh Gordon in a few years, I'd be like, what are you talking about?
I would have.
So, dude, I took that experience in, bro, and I was not shy. I go right up to them, bro. I'm a big fan. I'm asking Josh Gordon, what was it like playing for the Pats, bro? What's Edelman like? What's Brady like? I'm just talking his ear off, I didn't care, and they liked it too, because they knew I could play, They knew I was good, so full experience.
I remember watching the tryout where the destroying guy was like losing his shit over you, like who the hell is this kid? This is awesome, and I was just laughing because I watched the videos and I'm like, wait, I know that kid.
Dude, like, it's funny because I was on the couch at my boy's house 2 weeks before the FCF tryout. Didn't even know I was going to the tryout. I didn't know what the FCF was. I'm talking to my boy. I'm like, what are you guys watching on TV? Like on Netflix, whatever. He's like, honestly, I watch a lot of YouTube. Like I watch YouTubers. They post videos, and I don't really watch YouTubers or know that many. He's like, oh, I got to show you this one kid that I like, Destroying. Like he does football content.
Yeah.
So he shows me the Tyreek Hill video. He basically just links up with all these famous people, and he just makes dope sports videos. You know. So I throw the kid a follow on Instagram. I start watching his YouTube videos, and I become a fan of Destroying. I'm like, dude, he's putting out good content. Seems like a good dude. So then I hear, fast forward 2 weeks, I hear about an FCF tryout because my boy DeAndre Francois, who I met through another showcase, I was a fan of his too. He tells me to go to this tryout. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to play in the FCF, but I heard about it. Seems like there's good competition. I'm going to go to the workout and see what's up. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go too. Francois tells me to go. I'm gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Show up, and I see this dude walking on the sideline with a camera guy behind him. Yo, that's the kid. That's Destroying. I texted my boy. I'm like, bro, for some reason that kid Destroying's here.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, no way. You gotta go say what's up or whatever. Then I find out he owns one of the teams in the league. I'm like, what type of league is this? Like, yeah, he's one of 3 owners with Richard Sherman and Quavo. I'm like, dude, what? Someone's like, yeah, Bob Menery, Dalvin Cook own a team. Like they're naming me all these crazy owners. I'm at least now intrigued, So I went up to Destroying before that tryout. I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. No one out here is gonna be able to cover me. Like, just watch. He's like, yeah, I'll check you out. A lot of kids are probably saying that. So I'll check you out. Sure enough, I was just going crazy out there, dude. So he was all over it. And from that day, bro, like I went into that tryout with like 2,000 followers. Yeah. Just like anybody else. And after that tryout, I had like 8,000. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're like breaking my Instagram. What's happening? He's like, yeah, man, it's the Destroying effect. So he put me on the map, bro. Shout out to him.
So,
Crazy.
do you think that your time in the fan controlled football league really helped you to get looks from NFL teams? Like the NFL is like the next level, you know?
Of course.
Like,
Dude, without question. You know, I didn't know how serious people were going to take the FCF, like in terms of the NFL and
Yeah.
CFL and XFL. But to be honest, bro, I had no other options. I came out in 2020. I had a pro day at Holy Cross, which was like an NFL evaluation. I run my 40, do a whole bunch of testing, and so I was training all senior year for that. And 1 week before that, COVID hit. So my pro day got canceled. The CFL, which I would love to play in, got canceled that summer. The XFL, which was playing my senior year of college, that folded. COVID just killed everything. So I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
NFL teams aren't going to take me serious without a pro day. I'm undersized and I'm a D2 kid. Like Deontay Harris,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the only reason he went to the Saints is this, but at his pro day, he ran a 4.3. He's got great college tape, obviously.
Yeah.
He was a savage, but he ran a 4.3 at his pro day. The Saints were like, okay, let's bring this kid in. You know,
Fast, yeah.
if I had a great pro day running some rounds, somebody might invite me to camp. You never know. But FCF, dude, like, without it, I don't think anybody would really know who I am in terms of outside of Massachusetts. You know, that put me on a stage. Like I said, we averaged over 1 million viewers per game. So, you know, I have people hit me up
In
from
your
all
first
over the
game, you had
country.
2 touchdowns.
I did.
I watched that game.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
sweet,
like,
dude. It
I
was
want
so
to check
much
this
fun.
out. I was like, I don't really understand it, but I'm gonna check it out. And then you had 2 touchdowns. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Right. And the proof is in the pudding, dude. After that first FCF season, 2 guys went to the CFL. My buddy Travis went to the NFL. Josh Gordon, of course, went to the Chiefs.
Mhm.
And then a couple kids ended up playing in the USFL the following year.
Mhm.
So, like I said, the proof's in the pudding, dude. Like, there's great players in the FCF. After this season, I'm trying to think. Like, if you look at the alumni from the FCF, I don't know if you know the name Cavante Turpin. He played at TCU, ended up having an incident off the field, which prohibited him from going to the league. He played in the FCF season 1, was nasty. Just played in the USFL, won MVP, and now he's with the Cowboys. So I think the FCF definitely.
Is he a receiver?
Yeah, receiver, punt
Which
return,
they
kick return.
need right now because they just had
James
like,
Washington
they
went
just had a
down.
guy get hurt and they have like 1 receiver on their team
Right,
right now.
right.
Um,
Yeah, dude. To answer your question, definitely, bro. FCF helped a lot.
and you most recently tried out with the Patriots. So, what was that experience like? Like one of the best teams in the NFL, getting to get to know guys like Belichick, Mac Jones, catching passes from him. So, like, what was that like?
It was amazing, man. It was a great experience. It was just surreal because it's the team I grew up watching. You know, I was every Sunday growing up, I'm wearing a Patriots jersey, yelling at the TV, like.
Oh yeah.
And now, you know, to know that Belichick or the scouts or whoever it was watched my film and said, you know, this kid's a good player, let's bring him in, is a great step for me. Obviously, you know, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I made it a lot further than a lot of people thought I would because, you know, less than 1% of people get NFL tryouts. And the feedback I got from it was good. You know, they basically told me to stay ready. They told me a couple things that they would like to see. And I don't think that door's closed, you know. So that was a great experience for me. And it was my first NFL tryout, you know. The other 4 guys that were there have already been on NFL teams. They've got that experience. So for me to get my foot in the door with the Patriots was awesome.
Maybe the Dolphins will snag you up because they like to steal all our guys.
Right. I'll play for any team, man, but Patriots, that would be amazing.
So going back to Stonehill, I know we mentioned it earlier. They just went from the NE10 in Division 2 to the NEC in Division 1. Do you have any thoughts about that? I mean, after you graduate, they think they make the
I'm
jump
gonna
up
say
there.
this, if they stayed in the NE10, I think they'd win that league because they have a good team. They've got some good receivers that I've been working with this summer. I'm not sure who their quarterback's going to be. I think it's between 2 or 3 kids. Apparently, the O-line's like the best part of the team. They got a good running back coming back. Defense, I know they're returning a couple guys. So, you know, it's going to be a grind, playing a Division 1 schedule against great teams like Sacred Heart and things like that. They might take their lumps. They might surprise some people. We played Merrimack. I played Merrimack 4 years of college. My senior year, they ended up going Division 1.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, dude, they're going to get beat up for the next few years. Like, it's going to be ugly. They ended up going like 500 their first year in that league.
Yeah. I mean,
And they were pretty
their basketball team won the league.
Right.
And then COVID hit, so they didn't get to go to the March Madness tournament. But they had won it their first year,
Right.
which I mean could happen. They probably
Of course,
most of the teams will probably struggle, but you may have a couple that may thrive at that level because
Of course.
it may not be too different. Like with the NEC and the NE10, especially the NE10 is one of the better Division II conferences.
Right.
So I don't think there is too much of a difference, especially since Division II, there's a lot of Division II guys that also get recruited for Division I teams. Of
course.
I mean, and especially Stonehill's well funded. I mean, they got good athletic
5 to 10
facilities,
years
yeah.
from now, they could be the best team in that league.
Exactly.
You know? But going from the first year, I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle. But I think they know what they're getting themselves into. The kids, like they're ready for war, and I feel like they'll embrace being the underdog. You know, every game they go into, they're going to get overlooked. So if they bring it, dude, they can play with anybody.
Oh yeah. So if you were speaking to an NFL team and they asked you to compare yourself to a style of a NFL player or receiver, who would you compare or who would you say you compare or your model your game after?
You know, I want to say Edelman and Welker and Amendola because I'm a Pats fan and I grew up watching those guys. But I think I'm going to say Cole Beasley to answer your question, only because he's smaller than those guys. You know, people in the FCF or any other league, they'll, fans, they'll say, oh, this guy's like Edelman. They'll try to compare me to those guys all the time. But, those guys played at 190, 195. I'm 175, trying to get to 180, 185. That's my goal for the next couple months to put on, 10 pounds of lean muscle and stay quick. But Cole Beasley's like maybe 175, dude. He's small. And he's had what, an 8+ year career?
Yeah.
And he's done numbers. He gets open, he catches the ball. So he works
across the board.
Right. He works primarily in the slot. So I love watching Cole Beasley tape too. But there's a lot of guys I like watching.
You're gonna grow with the flow like he does.
Can't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Nice long.
Yeah. But I love Cole Beasley, man. I could watch his stuff all day.
Yeah, well, that's all we got for you. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you coming on. This is an awesome experience for us. This is our first in-person interview, so this is pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
So
My
thanks
pleasure.
for coming on. We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I'm always down to come in and chop it up. And we'll see what happens as the months go on because the XFL draft is in November, so I got into the XFL draft.
Yeah.
So we'll see which team I land on. And that'll be a sweet league. The XFL starts a couple weeks after the NFL.
Ran by the Rock, so I mean, you're just playing for all these things.
Exactly. Starts a couple weeks after the NFL Super Bowl. They signed a TV deal, so it'll be on ESPN every Saturday. The money's pretty good, which is nice. Like they got the league. Seems like it's going to be around I think it's going to be the best league, besides the NFL for a long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll see what happens. And the thing about the FCF too is like they're their own animal. The FCF is so different from all these other leagues. Like, I feel like they're just in competition with themselves, and I don't see that league going anywhere for a long time either.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to check you out. ESPN Saturday.
Definitely.
Make sure you're paying attention.
XFL's gonna be sweet.
That's gonna be awesome. Well, good luck, man. Appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure, fellas. Thanks for having me.